All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. We're here on a lovely Tuesday morning with some friends here to have another great group for you folks at home. We hope you are doing well. As always, we're going to start off by introducing who's with us here today. Let's go around our group. Mrs. Thiessen, how are you today?
I'm good. How is everybody out there?
Good, good, good. And we have Mr. Webster. Mr. Webster, how are you today?
Good morning, folks. I'm doing well, thank you. Great.
Awesome, awesome. And Miss Fisher, how are you doing today? Oh, Mrs. Fisher, your mic is off right now. You have to unclick that mic there. We'll try it again. Oh, while we're waiting for that, Mrs. Meter, how are you doing today, Mrs. Meter?
I'm doing very well, thanks.
Right on, right on. Mrs. Fisher, you're back, I see. How are you doing today?
Good. Is that better?
That is much better. Right on, right on. All right, friends at home. So let's take a look at our schedule for today. So friends, we are going to be starting off today with our calendar, as we always do. We're going to jump right into our question of the day. We're going to be having a show and tell video today that Mr. H found for us. We're going to be doing a recycling sort game, and then we're going to follow up with our goodbyes. Now, today you might notice we are having a bit of a theme. We'll talk a little bit more about it later, but we're going to be talking a lot today about recycling and how important it is to recycle. But first, as we do, let's jump in to our calendar. And while I pull that up, folks, just remember that when you are watching these videos at home, we do strongly encourage that you take your time, pause the video as needed, take breaks from the video as needed, and participate as much as possible. The reason why we do make these videos is to try to make them as interactive as possible. So please, please, please talk along with us, enjoy the group alongside us. And again, hit that pause button if you need some extra time to answer a question. All right, let's jump into the calendar.
Yep, it's May 2020. Let's make a calendar.
All right, folks.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, let's start off with Mrs. Fisher. Do you know what the date is today?
Today is Tuesday, May 12th.
Right on. It is Tuesday.
Great job. Today is Tuesday, May 12th, 2020.
Right on. So again, folks, just a reminder that it is Tuesday, May 12th for us while we're recording this video and spending time together in this group. But you might be watching this in the future and it might not be May 12th still, and that's fine too. Just remember, when we're recording this video, it is May 12th. So, Mr. Webster, if today is May 12th, 2020, what will tomorrow be?
Tomorrow will be Wednesday, May the 13th.
Ooh, you got it. You got it. Yes, tomorrow will be Wednesday, May the 13th. Now, Mrs. Meter, if today is Tuesday, May 12th, what was yesterday?
Yesterday was Monday, May 11th, 2020.
You got it. Monday, May 11th, 2020, right there. Right on. So, folks, as we talked about, today is indeed Tuesday, May 12th.
Great job.
Now, as we move on to the next section here, reminder just at home, we are going to be highlighting things that are important or special for the friends in the group here. However, at home, we do encourage you to look at your own calendar and figure out what's special for you in your month of May. Okay, so for example, my daughter's birthday was this past Thursday, the 7th. It was a wonderful day. It was a great time. She was very happy with the way we kind of figured it out. while a little bit away from school and a lot of her friends, but it was still a great day. So, Mrs. T, anything special for you coming up in May? Or
Well,
that happened in May?
Today is my niece, Callie. It's her 13th birthday today.
Ooh.
And it's also my friend next door. It's her birthday. So I have 2 birthdays to celebrate today.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Awesome. And Mr. Webster, anything special in May for you?
I've been trying to think, and you know what? May is one of these rare months where there isn't really anything going on. No birthdays, no, just no special days at all, really, that I can think of.
All good, Mr. Webster. And Mrs. Meter, anything special for you in May?
Well, the 5th of May was my husband's birthday.
Ooh.
And May 14th is my name day.
Is your oh?
Well, that's
Very-
where my parents are from. They celebrate name days, which is usually for adults. It's sort of like you celebrate, like you get a gift and maybe cake or whatever.
Cool. That sounds very cool. And last but not least, Mrs. Fisher, anything special for you in May?
Not really, other than yesterday was Mother's Day.
Yes.
So, yeah, so had a barbecue in the backyard for my mom.
Awesome. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Mother's
nice.
Day. A lot of people being creative on Mother's Day this year, which was very nice to see. Those moms work hard for sure. All right, folks. That sounds great. So let's take a look here. Oh, it was just Mother's Day. And look at this. This young person is giving Mom a hug. Happy Mother's Day. That looks great to me. All right, and there is our calendar, folks.
Goodbye.
So, friends, we're going to take another look at our schedule here. That was calendar. That was a great calendar. And now we're going to be moving on to question of the day. So, we are going to bring up our question wheel. There it is. And we are going to start putting in some names. So we have myself, Mr. H. We have Mrs. T. We have Mrs. Meter. We have Mrs. Fisher. And we have Mr. Webster. Awesome. Now, we do need a question. So let's open up our options here. Now, today's question is a little bit of a memory challenge, okay? So I want you to think back at home, and please think back with us. What did you have for dinner last night? So not breakfast this morning. What did you have for dinner last night, okay? So take a minute and think back, okay? And see if you can remember, all right? What did you have for dinner last night? Okay, so let's challenge our memories for what did you have for dinner last night? All right, folks, let's spin the wheel and see who in our group is going to be answering the question first. Ooh. Looks like it's Mr. H, so that's me. So for dinner last night, I had a Caesar salad, and we actually made hamburger helper. Yeah, it was a nice, quick, easy supper at Mr. H's house, but it was tasty for sure. All right, Mrs. Fisher, what did you have for dinner last night?
Last night I had pizza.
Oh, nice. And what did you have on your pizza, Mrs. Fisher?
I had mushrooms, pepperoni, and bacon.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, let's spin that wheel. All right, Mrs. T. Mrs. T, what did you...
Last night I made roast chicken, mashed or whipped potatoes, because my kids always want whipped potatoes. And we had broccoli salad and stuffing.
Oh, nice. That sounds tasty. All right, let's spin it up again. All right, Mr. Webster, what did you have for dinner last night?
Well, for dinner last night, I had, in the spirit of recycling, I had leftover barbecued pork chops and rice.
Nice, nice. That's reusing, yes, yes. All right, Miss Meter, I think it might be you. Let's find out. Look at that.
Okay, yeah, last night for supper, there was a Filipino lady that made us Filipino noodles, and we had salad and barbecue chicken.
Awesome, 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 awesome. That sounds delightful. So, friends at home, I encourage you to take this moment to think about what did you have for dinner last night. Think about all the components of your dinner. All right, friends. So we're going to stop sharing that for a moment. We're just take a second here to talk about. So we're going to be sharing a video. You know what? Before we do that, let's check that off our schedule. Question of the day is all done. There we go. There we go. So before we jump into our video today, guys, the video that we have to share is all about recycling. Now, recycling is a very important thing for us to learn and have knowledge about. It is something we do at school on Fridays, if you'll remember back. That's when we'd go around the school and collect from all the recycling bins. And recycling is important for a variety of reasons. I was wondering, before we jump into the video, Mrs. T, do you have a reason why recycling is important?
So that it doesn't land up in the landfill and it's better for the environment.
Yeah, so the more and more we can recycle and reuse some materials, then it doesn't end up in the landfill and it doesn't pollute the environment as much. So we are going to jump into this video. It's going to explain a little bit about what happens when we do recycle. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about recycling at home afterwards, okay? So let's jump into this video, folks. All right, so here we go. We're going to listen carefully, make sure my volume is nice and loud. All right, and here we go.
Your empty beverage containers have incredible potential, as long as they don't end up in a landfill. Their journey begins as soon as you put them in a blue bin and continues to a material recovery facility, where the containers are sorted by material type. Cans are shredded, melted down, and cast into ingots. The ingots are then pressed into sheets and rolled into coils. These rolls are sent to manufacturers, where they're turned into new aluminum cans or used for bicycle parts, car parts, and more. Cartons and juice boxes are put into giant blenders filled with water, so the paper can be separated from the plastic and aluminum. The plastic and aluminum mixture is turned into lumber-like or construction materials. The paper pulp can now be sold to paper or tissue mills, or is pressed on a wire screen and heated so it can dry and be turned into rolls. The paper is turned into things like cardboard boxes, tissues, and more. Plastic bottles are sorted by color, washed and chopped into flakes. Then the pieces are sorted again using a flotation process. Finally, they're melted down into pellets or squeezed into strands, which are spun into fiber. The pellets or fiber is turned into new plastic bottles, clothing, sleeping bags, and more. Glass is broken down or crushed into tiny pieces called cullets. Construction workers use these cullets for road bases, drainage backfill for sewer pipes, and more. So, now you know what your empty bottles, cans, cartons, and juice boxes can become, as long as they start their journey in a blue bin. Remember, whether you're at home or on the go, make sure you recycle everywhere.
All right. So
Wow, that's a cool video.
it is a very good video, isn't it? That's a great video. So Mr. Webster, maybe we'll start off. One thing that you learned from that video?
I learned about where they break it down into pellets and they make bottles and clothing from that. I didn't know clothing was made from those kinds of things. I think that's fascinating.
That is pretty cool. Mrs. Fisher, did you learn anything new from that video?
Yeah, about what they do with the glass. The glass turns into, they use it for the roads and stuff. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I did not know that either. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mrs. Meter, did you learn anything new in that video?
Yeah, one thing I didn't know was that when they recycle, they also make parts for the bike.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's very cool. And at the end, it really mentioned, and it hit home for me. It was a good reminder that it said, as long as you're looking for a blue bin, right? So if you think about at school, we have blue bins right around our whole school. And those are for recycling. If it's not blue at school, it's usually like a black or a gray bin, and that's for garbage. Okay, so at school, we have blue bins. If you think about when you go to a park or to the mall or something like that, they also have blue bins. And if you think about your home, there's a good chance you have a blue bin there as well. Okay, so you have to think, whenever you want to recycle, you need to look for a blue bin. Okay, and so that video did a good job of highlighting the kind of 4 areas: paper, glass, plastic, and missing one. Oh, metals. Yes, aluminum. Yes, metals. So we're actually, you know what? I need some practice. So our next activity is going to be practicing some sorting and recycling, okay? So before we get to that, folks, let's check back in with our schedule. That was our show and tell video today. So we are going to be doing our recycle sort next. Okay, so the way this is going to work, friends at home, is that I have this lovely recycle sort. So we're going to go around our group and we're going to ask the question of, is the item a paper, a plastic, a metal, or a glass? Okay, and so again, friends at home, we encourage you to take the time to answer alongside with us. If you feel like you need a little bit of extra time to think about it, again, hit that pause button. It'll save your spot and you can come right back to where we left off, okay? So we're going to go through these items down below and see if we can sort them into the right category. So starting off, Mrs. T, a book. If you had an old book that was broken and needed to be recycled, which category is a book? Paper, plastic, metal, or glass?
A book would be a paper product.
Yes, a book would be a paper product. You got it. All right. That is right. So, Mr. Webster, let's jump over to, let's pick an easy one here. A glass jug.
Well, a glass jug is going to go into the glass.
Yes, the glass jug would certainly go into the glass. All right. And Mrs. Fisher, let's look at over here this newspaper. Mrs. Fisher, where would the newspaper go? You have an old newspaper at your house.
Newspaper would go into the paper.
Yeah, it is paper, yeah. All right. And Mrs. Meter, what about this plastic juice bottle down here? Where would that go?
That would go into the plastic.
Yeah, the plastic. Kind of gives it away in the title, that one. All right, so back to Mrs. T. Mrs. T, what about this aluminum foil?
It would go into the metal.
Yeah, a metal. Okay, so if you had aluminum foil, the silver part here, it is certainly a metal. Okay, now if you just had the box left over, it's probably a paper, but it's talking about the aluminum there. All right, Mr. Webster, what about this magazine? Where would a magazine go, Mr. Webster?
A magazine would go into the paper. Into the paper.
Paper, you got it. Magazine would go into the paper. All right. And Mrs. Fisher, what about this glass? That kind of gives it away.
It would go in the glass.
It would. So if you have an old glass at home, right? A cup that's made out of glass, certainly it would go into the glass category. It is recyclable. Okay. And Mrs. Meter, what about this jar down here? It looks kind of like an old pickle jar, maybe.
That would go in the glass.
Glass, yeah. A lot of jars are made out of glass. If you think about, yeah, like pickles, some dressings or sauces, right? Pizza sauce, that sort of thing. They all come in jars. So as long as you wash that jar out, you can certainly put it in the recycling bin under glass. All right. And Mrs. T, what do you think about this coffee container here? That might be a tricky one.
Ooh, that could be tricky. It's either, depending what material it's made out of, it could go into the plastic or metal. It could go into the metal one.
Yeah, we'll find out. I think it's implying a lot of coffee containers are made out of plastic. That would be my guess too, Mrs. T. Let's find out if it likes that answer. Oh, we are right. Yeah, so the container that the coffee is in is made out of plastic. Very cool. All right, Mr. Webster, what about this can? What is a can made out of?
A can would be made out of metal.
Metal, yeah, made out of aluminum. So we're going to put that in the metal. Awesome, awesome. And Mrs. Fisher, what about this cereal box over here? A cereal box.
Cereal box would be in the paper.
Yep, looks like you're going to be right here. That is paper. Awesome. And Mrs. Meter, what about this milk jug sitting over here by itself?
That would go into the plastic.
Plastic. Let's try it out. Oh, you ready to go? Awesome, awesome. Now, that was a milk jug. Mrs. T, what about this kind of milk carton?
A milk carton is made out of paper.
Paper, yeah. So if you look, they're both carrying milk, this carton and the milk jug. The milk jug's made out of plastic and the milk carton is made out of paper. All right, Mr. Webster, what about this water bottle? What is a water bottle usually made out of?
I think they're generally made out of plastic.
Plastic, yeah, let's check it out. Way to go. Way to go, way to go. And Mrs. Fisher, what about this pop bottle? That's going to be interesting. We'll see. What do you think about a pop bottle, Mrs. Fisher?
Pop bottles are usually made out of plastic.
They're usually made of plastic. Yeah. Way back when, not way back when, but they used to be often made out of glass. But we'll see if they think it's plastic. Oh, they do indeed. All right, and Mrs. Meter, what do you think about this paper bag?
That would go into the paper.
You got it. Yeah, a lot of folks, a lot of friends at our school will bring lunches in paper bags and recycle it because it is paper. All right, we're down to our last three. Mrs. T, what do you think about this cookie jar?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tricky one. Kind of depends, that one, hey?
It kind of depends. I'm gonna go. No, my cookie jar is like ceramic.
Yeah.
Tricky. I think I'm gonna say plastic.
Yeah, let's try out plastic and see if it likes it or not. Nope, didn't like it.
So then I think I'm gonna go for glass.
Let's try it out over there. Oh, there we go. Mrs. T's right. Sometimes things like cookie jars are made out of a few different things. So it kind of depends which one. But if it is made out of paper, plastic, metal, or glass, it is recyclable, right? That is the big takeaway here. All right, Mr. Webster, what about you? This yogurt container. What do you think about the yogurt container?
I'm gonna say that the yogurt container is going to, well, could be paper or plastic. I'm gonna say plastic.
Let's try it out. You are right. It is in plastic.
Woo.
And last but not least, this one kind of gives it away, but Mrs. Fisher, what about broken glass? What category would that go in?
That would be in the glass.
That would be in the glass. Yes. Awesome job, folks. So friends at home, I hope you had a good time sorting all these different items. Again, please feel free to go back and sort with us, pause the video and see if you can get all these things sorted correctly. Now, before we leave this page, I just want to again highlight when you are thinking about recycling, and I encourage you to recycle at home, help your parents out, help your caregivers out, help your roommates out if that's the case, and try and recycle as much as possible, okay? So what you won't notice in any of these categories is things like, is leftover pizza recyclable? No, not recyclable, right? So what we're really looking for is if that item is paper, plastic, metal, or glass, okay? If it's in one of those categories, then you can put it in your blue bin. If it's not one of those categories, then it has to go in the trash can, okay? So the trick at home is to always be thinking about before you throw something away, can I recycle this? Yes or no, right? And the answer to that question is going to be, if it's a yes, it means it is paper, plastic, metal, or glass, okay? So we will leave this page for now. I think that was a great activity. Thank you folks in the group for participating with me on that one.
Yep.
Let's take a look at our schedule here. We are going to check that off. And we're going to move on to our goodbyes here. All right, so we're going to wrap up the group today, folks. We're going to give our friends a chance to give a quick goodbye for now. Let's start off with Mrs. T. Mrs. T, any parting words today?
Take care, guys. Make sure you're washing your hands a lot and try and spend some time outside. I'm going to go outside and clean up some yard waste that I have. I have to cut up some branches so that I can put them in the waste for garbage day.
Another type of recycling for sure. All right, Mr. Webster, any parting words today?
Stay safe, my friends. I look forward to seeing you, and stay active.
Right on, right on. And Mrs. Fisher, any parting words today from you?
Just stay safe, everyone.
Right on, right on. And Mrs. Meter, any parting words from you today?
Just take care of yourself the best you can and be safe.
Right on, right on. And I will leave you guys with, again, today's theme was recycling. We recycle at school, we practice at school. So I encourage you while you're learning at home with your roommates, caregivers, or family members, to try and recycle as much as possible. It is a good habit to get into, and it's a good skill to learn as we get older and older and get into adulthood. All right, so that's my parting words for today, folks. We will see you next time. Have a great day. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.